Hi, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make this card, you can visit my online store, and the link is in the description box below. Today I'd like to share with you an alternative project using some of the products that came in the September 2020 paper pumpkin kit called Hello Pumpkin. So this kit was a really fun one to receive, and if you'd like to see everything that came in the kit, you can click on the link that's up here in the right hand corner, and that will take you to my playlist where you can see my unboxing video as well as my other alternative projects. So what I like to do is take the products from that kit and turn them into other projects. And most of the time, they're handmade cards. So what I wanted to do for today's card was use this fun diamond pattern from the treat boxes, along with some of the die cuts that came in the kit, and then adding a couple pieces of cardstock and maybe some embossing to create this fun card. So let's go ahead and get started. Don't miss out on the fun. Make sure to subscribe by October 10th to receive next month's kit. It will make 8 beautiful holiday cards. Subscribe by clicking on the link below in the description box. So before we begin, I just want to walk you through some of the things you're going to need to make this card. So some of the things that are not in the kit, you'll notice that I've got a little bit of a gold foil behind these diamonds. And so I used the brushed metallic cardstock that's in the holiday catalog. So this is a newer product. It comes in 3 different colors. You've got a bronze, a copper, and a gold. And they have like this really fun texture that's been brushed. So it's not a totally smooth, shiny surface. And it's a really fun one, especially for like fall cards. So I just have cut a piece. I think this one is the gold one. And I'm just going to use that. You're going to cut it to 1.5 inches by 4 inches. Actually, it's a little longer than 4 inches, and then we cut it down to 4 inches. So I think it's more like 4 1/4. So 1.5 by 4 1/4. You're going to need a petal pink piece of cardstock. And I really love how that soft pink orange color really helps these other stronger colors pop up off of the card. And so that's why I've used this petal pink. And it's just cut to a regular card front size, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So you're going to have a little bit of a border. Then you're going to want a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock for your card base. And that's just cut in half. So it's at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4. I did want to add just a little bit more of the orange to kind of tie in that pinky orange color as well as into that pumpkin. And so this is just a small strip. So it is 1/4 inch by 4 inches, and it's the color's pumpkin pie. So those are the things you're going to need. If you want to have an embossed look up here at the top of the petal pink, you can use either an embossing folder, or what I've used is this stitched die that comes from the Stitched Leaves dies. And it's just a really fun one. It kind of just gives a little bit of detail to that cardstock right there. Okay, so then from the kit, you're going to need one of the cracker box style die cut boxes. And you're just going to need to punch out those diamonds. And this is going to be that design down here on the card. We're going to remove that, so I'll show you how to do that. You'll need some twine, and I've got 8 inches of the white twine, a pair of pumpkins, and then just a couple other die cuts that you want to decorate your card with, and then one of the banner pieces for the greeting. So let's go ahead and begin cutting the diamonds for our card. So some of my other alternative projects do use the other pieces of this cracker box cut out. And so if you want to use the scallop edge, I use that in one of my projects. I also use this middle piece in another project. And so today we're just focusing on the diamonds, but if you would like to learn how I use those other pieces so that you don't throw anything away, then you can look at my playlist. And again, that was linked at the beginning of the video. I even have a video showing you how to use these fun diamonds so that you're not throwing anything away. So what we're going to do here is there is a score line, and it sits right along the edge of, or the top of these diamonds. And so you're going to take that score line and you're going to line it up with one of the 1/4 inch markers, either on the left or the right side of your cut line. And so I'm going to do the right side. So I'm going to be cutting 1/4 of an inch from that score line or the top of these diamonds. So here's my score line, here is my 1/4 line, and I've lined that up, and then I can just trim that off. So you can see how I have 1/4 of an inch here now. And then we're going to repeat and do it on the other side. So now it's going to be on the left side. So again, my score line sits right along the top of these diamonds. It comes down and I'm lining it up with my 1/4 inch line. So then I have my piece for my card. So before I do any more trimming, I want to apply my metallic cardstock to the back. You could use the glue dots that came in the kit, or you could just do a quick dab of glue on each one of those sections so that this cardstock adheres to the diamond piece. Whoops, that's one of the problems with using glue. Hopefully we didn't get glue all over. Nope, it looks like we were saved from getting glue on that shiny area that's showing. Okay, so then you're just going to take a bone folder and just kind of smooth that out so that glue adheres nicely. And now we're going to trim. So we want this to just be about 4 inches. Now if it's a little bigger, that's okay. But we want to trim right as close as we can to this edge of the diamond. And so my guide here, I'm just going to line the edge of the diamond up with the left side of my guide. And I know I'm going to get as close as I feel comfortable to that edge. So you can see there that I got pretty close but did not touch it. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just going to rotate and line that up with the edge and cut again. Okay, so you can kind of see that there. And so now that's all nicely trimmed. So that's why we also cut a little bit larger piece here so that we can just trim that off and make a nice edge. So that piece is ready. And the other thing we need to do is we're going to add that embossing at the top. So if you have an embossing folder, let me just grab one that I've got close by. So this one is the pine wood planks. You could emboss the whole thing and then you'd also get that embossing here at the bottom. And you would just do that by adding it to your paper to the whole embossing folder. Or you could just do half of it and just have it kind of peek out at the bottom. You don't need to worry too much about this area because that's going to be covered by that element. You could also use, I've got one of the greenery ones here, and you could use the leaves and just do that bottom half of that embossing folder into that space as well, lining it up here on the right side. So either one of those would be fine. I just really liked the simplicity of this stitched line. It didn't take away too much from the die cuts from the kit. So I'm gonna line this up at, I think it was 2 1/4. So I have a ruler here on my grid paper. And so I'm just gonna use that to kind of line everything up. And then I'm going to use this washi tape just to hold it all down. Just going to kind of slide. I'm going to slide things around just to make sure I'm getting the image where I want it to be. I kind of want this peak to be over a little bit, not just centered on my card. So now that that's down, I'm just going to make sure, yeah, that's about right. I'm going to go ahead and run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and then I will be right back. All right, so you can see now that fun texture that's created. All right, and then the very last thing we need to do is just stamp our greeting onto our strip. And I wanted to use the Hello Pumpkin just to kind of go with that cute pumpkin die cut. I'm also using the Cajun Craze ink spot that came in the kit. This stamp did come in the kit, so if you're new to Paper Pumpkin, it's just a really fun project box that comes once a month. It's a subscription, and you get a fun stamp set, an ink spot. Your very first one will have a clear block. It's not exactly like this. It's a little thinner and maybe just a little bit smaller so that it fits with all of your stamps. And then you just get all those fun supplies to make the intended project. And then if you like to do alternative projects, you may just need a couple extra supplies like cardstock to turn those into cards or other fun things. And so this was the fun stamp set that came in the kit. It's got Halloween and Thanksgiving and fall kind of all wrapped up into one. All right, so just gonna go ahead and ink up this greeting. It just says Hello Pumpkin. And then that's gonna be stamped right there in the center. And now we can put our card together. So go ahead and fold your card base in half and use a bone folder to make a nice crease. You're going to add your cardstock to the front of your card base. I just added a little bit of liquid glue to the back, and I stayed away from these holes because I didn't want that glue to kind of come through. So that's why I did that. If you're using a dry adhesive like the Stamp and Seal, you wouldn't need to worry too much about that glue coming through. I do always smooth out my pieces if I use liquid glue. It just kind of makes sure that my paper is not going to warp. Again, a little bit on the back of this piece, and we're going to add that to our card. And it is just slightly bigger than 4 inches, so it's going to kind of come off a little bit, and that's okay. I'm going to just line everything up on my grid paper and just get an idea of where I want that to be, which is about 1/4 of an inch off the bottom there, so that you can still see that pretty pink color. I do, however, want to make sure that my little orange piece, there it is going to sit and kind of line up with that stitching. So this side needs to just come up just a little bit. So I'm going to grab that piece and just kind of slide it up just slightly so that when this sits down, it's pretty even on that stitching. That's one nice thing about having liquid glue is you can kind of move things around until things dry, and then you've got a nice permanent bond there. Okay. So just kind of smooth that out. If you need to open it up, you can do it that way so you don't ruin any of your elements. And now we're just going to add these pieces to our card. So I'm going to start with the pumpkin. I'm just going to add a couple dots to the back. And I want that to be at a little bit of an angle so that this little pumpkin is sitting kind of along the top edge of that strip. And then next I'm going to add the greeting, and I want this to be added with some dimensionals just to kind of help it pop off the card. These are the ones that came in the kit. And I'm just going to, you can either use a whole piece here, they do fit, or you can take a pair of snips or scissors and just cut them in half. And that will kind of save you a little bit of money because you can get 2 out of 1. Just kind of add that. And you're going to place this just, oh, not upside down. You're going to add that just into this area here, kind of below the little pumpkin. So something like that. And then take your die cuts and you're just going to add whatever die cuts you want to around your greeting. I'm just going to keep things simple and do a leaf, a flower, and a little curlicue. So I really like liquid glue, especially when I make videos. It's just a really fast process for me. I don't have to worry about adding or removing paper, that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use that again. So I'm just gonna lift up that leaf a little bit to give it a little bit of a three-dimensional feeling along the edges. And then I'm gonna add my curlicue with a little bit of dots here. Now, if you don't have liquid glue, the kit does come with some glue dots, and anywhere I put the liquid glue, you could add those glue dots as well. Okay, I'm going to grab my pickup tool. So that sticky side that has that putty on it can pick that up a lot easier than my finger sometimes. And this is just going to kind of go at a little angle right above my greeting. And then this flower, I decided not to punch out the hole, and I'm going to add a little dimensional, and this one I've actually cut in a fourth, so it's really tiny. It's kind of half the size. If you have mini dimensionals, this would be a really good thing to use those for. And then I've just added that right to the middle, and it's kind of holding that hole closed, and so we don't really see that opening there. And that's just going to kind of go between those two elements. So we've got a leaf, a flower, and a curlicue around our greeting. And then just our very last thing we want to add is a bow. And you could use either the black or white twine that came in the kit, or you could even use like linen thread if you have some of that. That would be cute with this. And I have 8 inches, which is a good amount for me to tie a bow. Just kind of get an idea how that looks. And then I am going to add that with a glue dot this time. Let's see. I like to use my pickup tool to add my glue dots. Most of the time I use this putty side here, and I just put it on the side and then slide, and it will hold that glue dot, and then I can place it where I want it, which is right about here in the corner. And then I use the pointy end to remove the paper. And then I can just take this bow and place it right over that glue dot, tuck it underneath a little bit, and then I can trim those ends if I need to. This one needs to come down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, this one feels really big, so I'm just going to kind of make it a little smaller and then trim it so they're about even. There we go. There we go. Lots of there we goes. Okay, so that card is all done. So using just a couple extra pieces of cardstock and maybe some fun embossing folders, along with those supplies from the kit, we can create some really fun and pretty fall cards. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, and share. Visit creativechelsey.com for more information about Paper Pumpkin and to start getting your monthly kit. Have a creative day. Bye.